In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I went from relying almost entirely on Airbnb to generating over 79% of my bookings direct year after year for the last 3 years. Okay. This is the shift that took the stress out of my business, and it's far simpler than most people obviously expect. So, the first thing or the major change was that I decided in 2023, early on, that I would buy and rent better stock that appeals to contractors. Now, this came through, I guess, trial and error. I was looking to expand my portfolio. At the time, I was hosting tourists. We had, one beds, two beds, a couple of three beds. And I thought, let's buy some bigger properties and see if we can get more guests in. Now, what came of buying about four or five of these bigger properties in late 2022 and early 2023 was I found that all the contractors were booking them. So I was like, there's something in this. And that is ultimately what has led to, this contractor B&B strategy that I've created, and ultimately just buying more and more of these type of properties, which then has seen an increase in my direct booking strategy from, sub 20% to, as I've said, like year on year for the last 3 years, sort of 79% or more. So for me, the first part of this is making sure you have the right stock. Once you've got that, we use Airbnb as an exposure tool. Like, it's not just that I've switched Airbnb off, like most people think. Not at all. Like, Airbnb spend millions of dollars putting our listings in front of the right people each and every day. So what we do is we use that leverage, we use that exposure to be able to try and convert the booking direct, to be able to get eyeballs direct on our website, because these contractors are used to booking accommodation. They're used to going direct. They know they can get better deals direct. And they also know the hacks now of how to actually find the companies, and ultimately how we list ourselves gives them the details without breaking the Airbnb policies for them to be able to come and find us. And then ultimately they come to our website or they give us a call, and we do a deal direct. So I would not cut Airbnb off. We use it as exposure because it is a great tool, and they are doing all the grunt work for us by paying all that marketing dollar. But with all that, once we've got the inquiries, and there's many other ways that we get inquiries, open rent, Google, our own website, through organic traffic, through SEO and things like that. But I think when you're just getting started out, Airbnb is definitely a great tool to leverage. But then the system, what I find most hosts do is they fail. The system behind fails, and therefore they may get a lead or they may get an inquiry, but they're not quick enough, they're not responding enough. Contractors are not on that platform for long. They're not shopping for an Instagrammable place. They just want to get a bed and get back to site. So for them, it's a very quick process. Whereas, and I say a lot of teams just not being able to answer the inquiry, not being able to spot the opportunity. So, for example, when we get a booking in for a Monday to Thursday from a booking channel, the team are instantly calling that lead, and we know that is potentially a business booking. And then we're trying to find out whether they're in the city for longer, how many other teams are maybe working in their company on the same project. Where is the project? How long is it going on for? And ultimately, that then leads to extended bookings, and also finding more properties for more of their team to be able to then increase that direct booking percentage, because we're hosting to not just one booking. We end up with multiple bookings from it, and it all comes from spotting those opportunities with the triggers and the systems that we have set up behind the scenes, and the staff are well trained and know what they're doing. Okay. And then I think once we've done all that, we then continue to get booked repeatedly, because I've ensured that the properties are designed for contractors, not tourists. And again, this is where a lot of hosts fail when they're trying to attract contractors. They might get the booking. A lot of contractors will test the water Monday to Thursday. And then if it works, they'll come back. And if you're good enough, they'll actually book direct. If not, they'll just go rebook on Airbnb, and you'll end up paying fees. All right, which is obviously not what you want to do. But we basically ensure that the property works for contractors. So we need to give them a comfy night's sleep. We need to make sure they can get a hot shower on demand. We need to make sure that there is enough fridge space for them to be able to, store all their stuff. We need to be able to make sure that they can wash and dry their clothes. We need to make sure that, that it's easy for them to get their muddy boots on and off. It's easy for them to park. All of these things tick the boxes for contractors and ensure that they want to come back to the same place. Because if you think about it from their point of view, they don't really want to be going, especially if they're in the same city for the next 7 months, for example. They don't want to be going to a different Airbnb every week, having a different experience, battling with lock boxes or trying to find parking or fighting with the best way to get, out of the city for traffic, all that sort of stuff each and every week. They just want a reliable place that they can get comfortable with. They understand how it all works, and then each and every week it just makes their life a lot easier. As I say all the time, a home away from home. And if you design your properties in that way, then you will get repeat bookings. And I think this is one of the major reasons that our direct booking percentage has increased, is because we really think about the contractor, how they want to stay, and ultimately what they really need from a stay to be able to want to come and book again. And then I think on top of that, and it is really important that you have a direct booking website, but not just any old website. You need one that converts, and also one that drives organic traffic. So you do that through, SEO, backlinks, all that sort of stuff, link building. And that is a process that you really need to learn and make sure you are doing on your website to be able to get the, when someone types in, accommodation in Newcastle upon Tyne, or, trade stays in Newcastle upon Tyne, then, our website will come up because, we've worked on those keywords and we've got, the content on there. But then more at the point when they land there, the direct booking site like really oozes trust. They know they can book with us. We look like a credible company. We feel like someone that they can give their credit card to. And, I think that's where a lot of hosts really miss the point on, is it's okay driving the traffic there, but, are you giving enough trust points, as I call it, away to the client for them to be able to say, no, I'm going to book with you rather than book with Airbnb, who I know is, a, multinational company. I know my money's safe with them. I know if I've got any problems, the customer service team is going to deal with me, so on and so forth. And I think that again is where a lot of hosts miss out on. They just put this slapdash website up and think that people are just going to book through it, and they're not. So when you mesh all this together, then you really, that's how I've increased my direct bookings. There's no real magic sauce. It's just kind of putting it and doing all of these things together and doing a good job at each level. And then naturally, we have just seen our direct booking percentage like really, scale to the point now where, we literally hardly ever pay OTA fees because the majority of our bookings are direct. So in this next video, I'm going to talk to you about the systems behind the scenes that keep my business operating smoothly without a load of staff. Because previously I had 105 staff. I've now got 7. All right. And it is an absolute game changer what went on and what went down. And I'm going to tell you all about that so you can, take notes and implement it into your business so you can scale without the chaos and without the stress that I unfortunately experienced back in kind of 2021, 2022.